Hi everyone, I'm Thuy. Today is the 3rd of January 2023. Wow, that's already 2023. So let's start a new year with a new book. And this book, today we are going to read together the first chapter. Let's say the 10 first pages. Let's read with me. The book called Getting the Love You Want from Henry Hendricks, PhD, and his wife Helen Leckley Hunt. She's also a PhD. Okay, let's have a look at the book. The first part of the book called The Unconscious Partnership. The first chapter called Love, Lost and Found. In the 35 years that we have been helping people get the love they want, we have witnessed many changes in the outward appearance of love relationships. For example, we have seen a dramatic increase in the age of which people marry. When we first worked with couples, the modern marriage age for the first time marriages was 23 years for men um, and 21 years for women. By 2017, had risen to 30 years for men and 27 years for women. Today, people in their 20s are just likely to be in school, working, or exploring the world as many getting married and start a family. Many marry later, if at all. And young people are suspicious of marriage and have given up on the institution, since they have seen so few marriages they would want to emulate. 3 decades ago, most of the couples we saw were spending too little time together, which redirected energy away from their relationship. Today, the digital world has shrunk that time even more. A 2016 survey reported that adults are now spending 5 hours a day on their portable devices, and that's in addition to the time they spend watching TV, playing DVDs, and working on their laptops and personal computers. Apple's digital devices, the iPhone and the iPad, are aptly named. They all strengthen the I and not the relationship we most care about. Another 21st century phenomenon is the growing reliance of the web. In the 1970s and 80s, most couples meet each other at school, work, or social events. Today, millions of people meet their matches on internet dating sites. For a monthly fee, a computer will scrutinize your personality and preference and churn out a list of people who come closest to your ideal. With luck, you'll find 100% match. Matches are no longer made in heaven, they are made by computer algorithms. The truth that endures. Amid all the changes in the way we meet and mate, two truths endure. First, people everywhere still seek lasting love. We all long to feel the deep sense of connections and joy that floods us when love is new. A man who attended a recent workshop said that falling in love with my wife made me feel loved and accepted for who I was for the very first time. It was intoxicating. 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 19th century romantic poet John Keats put this way: my creed is love, and you are its only tenet. You have ravished me away by a power I cannot resist. You are in love. You are no longer alone. The sensation of being fully alive and joyfully connecting is running through your nervous system. You feel at home in the universe itself. You have been captured by the power and wonder of romantic love. The second truth is that when love founders, people experience the same heartaches that couples reported since the age of Cleopatra and Antony when suicide was the best answer. One client said that as his girlfriend was leaving him, I can't sleep or eat, my chest feels like it's going to explode. I cry all the time and I don't know what to do. Indeed, this is the same trauma that has been described throughout recorded history. An ancient medical text from Middle East, written more than 3,000 years ago, described a condition called love sickness. According to the text, you know a patient is lovesick when he is habitually depressed, his throat tight, finds no pleasures in eating or drinking, and endlessly repeats with high signed, "Ah, my poor heart." It gets personal. We know the pain of lost love because both of us has had first marriages that ended in divorce. For me, Havel, my first wife and I began having marriage difficulties when our two children were young. We're deeply committed to our relationship and went through 8 years of intensive examination, working with several therapists. Nothing helped, and ultimately we filed for divorce. As I sat in the divorce court, waiting my turn to see the judge, I felt like a double a failure as a husband and as a therapist. That that very afternoon, I was scheduled to teach a course on marriage and the family, and the next day, as usual, I had several couples to consult. Despite my professional training, I felt just as confused and defeated as all the people who sat beside me, waiting for their name to be called. In the years following my divorce, I woke up each morning with an acute sense of loss. When I went to bed at night, I stared at the ceiling, trying to find some explanation for our failed marriage. Sure, my wife and we had our 10 rational reasons for divorcing, just like everybody else. I didn't like this about her. She didn't like that about me. We had different interests and goals. We have grown apart. But beneath our list of complaints, I would say that there was a central disappointment and an underlying cause of our unhappiness that had eluded 8 years of prompting. Time passed, and my despair turned into a compelling desire to make sense out of my dilemma. I was not go- walking. I was not going to walk away from the ruins of my marriage without gaining some insight. I met Helen 2 years later. Helen, also has two young children, and like Javier, I was deeply sorrowful and also puzzled by the failure of my first marriage. I was aware that a distance has grown between my husband and me, and I thought his long hours at work contributed to the problem. When he was unavailable, I felt lonely and sad, but I grew to wonder if there were other, more hidden causes to our growing distance. Why hadn't we have always to able to identify those deeper issues and solve the problem? Okay, today we're gonna stop right there. And so, as you can see, this is the book written by two PhD, and they're obviously um, like the therapist. And but unfortunately, they also both have failed marriage. The first one, and then they meet each other, and then they I believe that at the later on in the book they will talk about how they turn off their gift of their sorrow into through our work to find out a way to explain to us what is really me, how can we get the love we want. So stay tuned, and I see you tomorrow. Bye bye.